Let's talk about Google Calendar for a few minutes today. As with most of these sessions, this is not a deep course on how to do everything. It's an introduction to how these things work and the technology that we use at a lot of tech startups and other smaller businesses. So I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail on Google Calendar. I'm just going to give you a quick introduction to it. And as you need to do things, you can figure it out, as with all the material in this course. So at least you'll know that some of the stuff's possible, and I'll show you some tricks. But for real detail, it'll take a course in Google Calendar. For the most part, though, I'm not sure that's necessary. It's pretty basic stuff, and you can figure it out as you go. So here we are in my Google Calendar. Just some basics, right? You see the months here. You can click on those to go by months. I'm in a week view, so I can click here to move weeks backwards and forwards. I can click on today to go back to today, so if I'm in the future, just jump back to today. Here's my other calendars I have views of, so I can turn those on and off to see them. I can change the settings and the colors for them. So when you have multiple calendars and you're using this for work, you'll see all sorts of different calendars for different people in different colors. And it'll help you identify the calendars and schedule things. And you can subscribe to new calendars or create new calendars or browse calendars, import calendars. So a bunch of different settings there. You can also, as you can see, create events. So you just click on the calendar to create it in the place you want, or you click create there and it'll just put it near where you are now. When you create one, you can then obviously add a title, you can make it a task or a reminder. Generally, I just do events. Google likes to add features that I do wonder how many people use them, but they're there. So you may want to try them at some point if you want a task or a reminder. But the events I find more helpful, just because I'd like it in my calendar to hold up space and time, but these you can use for other purposes that if you want to look into saving tasks and having reminders just be in your calendar, you can consider using those. So you can find a time to have the event. You can add guests as you go. You can now add Google Meet if you do want a conference call in there, which is helpful. For more options, you can click down here. One thing I'll say that's a good feature that you should know about is this modify event. I always put this on because it's really rare that I'd have an event where I don't want someone who I invited to the event to be able to change the event. For the most part, you want to be able to tell someone, hey, can you change this event? Or if someone wants to change a time, they should be able to move the calendar event. They shouldn't have to ask you to do it. So I have that on by default. And in your settings, you actually, in the next video on Google Calendar, I have a couple of short videos, you'll see how to put that on by default. And then you can have repeat. So you can do custom. You can make it every day, week, month, whatever you want. You can make it a couple days a week of whatever custom days a week you want. And then you can have it end after a certain amount of time. You can change the color of the event. And that's really it. So nothing too complicated again here. Just a quick intro to Google Calendar with some of the fun little features. It's part of the Google Suite, and it's a good tool for startups that I actually don't know of a startup that doesn't use the Google Suite these days. So play around with it, get to know it. And as you need to know more things about it or do something that you don't know how to do, that's when it's time to do some research and figure it out. For the most part, though, pretty straightforward, pretty easy to use, and feel free to reach out with questions.